Alright guys, welcome to the channel, it's the Eradicator, and so it's Friday, we have another episode of Inside Star Citizen Playground on the Ground, a follow-up here on some of the bunkers, at least the concept art of the bunkers that we saw in during the last CitizenCon. And so it seems that they are in white box phase already, so development is starting to take shape, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen here. Techhead in the chat says, I enjoyed some of the FS games on PS2. The only racing I was Motorstorm games. Oh, interesting. You haven't raced anything else? Well, I suggest you try Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown later this year. You'll be very impressed. Anyway, let's watch this episode right here.
Star Citizen is more than just a space game.
Hello, John.
As the work continues building out our first-person persistent universe of sundry stunning star systems.
It's actually a very good point he's making. You can spend your entire day in Star Citizen on a planet surface without even seeing space if you want. Or it's already the case. If that's something, you can spend your time in a cave. You can spend your time in prison as well, like in yesterday's live stream. So yeah, it's more than the space game indeed, Jared. Thank you for reminding people. Yeah.
With planets and professions and possibilities in profusion, one might suspect that the strive is set solely on spreading space-wise. But for the tight team of dedicated developers on EU Sandbox 2, one of their maturing missions is to drill deep down, descending beyond and below the barren bottoms of the beneath, to originate and occasion ongoing opportunities for exciting and edifying experiences for everyone to enter, engage, and enjoy.
That's awesome. All right. That's a long intro, Jared. Can we get to the point? There we go. By the way, this episode, again, we're having some juicy episode this season. I like it. I think we haven't had a single episode under 10 minutes. This one is 16 minutes. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Jared, for bringing us the meat this year. I like it.
So we're building a playground where every aspect of the Star Citizen universe game is we're building a playground for all of this, not all of it. We're building a playground for the... I've forgotten it already. What is it? This is slow, irritating.
I do that all the time too. When I have, sometimes I'm doing videos and I'm taking notes instead of having a written script, and I always forget my lines. And sometimes I even put the wrong file in my video, so you guys are like, oh, Irad, I heard you swear in the video, It sounds very direct. It's like, yeah, that's because it was the raw audio file. Yeah, that's the reality here. So kudos to everyone, by the way, who participated in those episodes of Inside Star Citizen, and who are not professional broadcasters, but still take some of their time, some of their valuable time to do those episodes. It's not an easy task.
Where? Can I maybe say it another way? Playground, potential, every aspect. We're building a playground where every aspect of Star Citizen gameplay can occur. Thank you. Nailed it.
He did it. Yes, very good.
Hello, me again. Second time, but third time for this. Giving you a bit of an update on the underground facilities. So the first time you saw them was at CitizenCon last year. Ian was going through all the...
Wait a second. So far, we're just looking at these are the current bunkers, right? But what do we have? CitizenCon 2953, the new underground. 2953 is this year. So are they going to show up? Are they preparing these bunkers for this year's CitizenCon? Look, CitizenCon 2953. Huh.
So the first time you saw them was at CitizenCon last year. Ian was going through all the concept art. Then last time and first time you saw me, I was going through the planning and all those riveting Excel sheets. This time I'm showing you where we're at, currently in production.
Awesome.
We're midway through white box, and this for us is a good phase for locking down where we're at and where we want to go. It shows us that we can play the spaces, and you'll see that they are quite big.
Oh man, can you imagine those undergrounds? We go inside with ground vehicles, or you can even fly small ships. Can you imagine you fly the small ship? A little bit like in Star Wars, where they fly inside the Death Star too. Can you imagine if that's something that we could do? That could be so cool.
But our intention is to fill them, and missions that we could have kind of go along the lines of, yes, you've got your delivery missions, but also, you know, maybe you're seeking out and protecting a VIP, maybe you're assassinating a VIP, maybe you're doing a bit of a heist, maybe you're just mining or resource collection.
That would be good, you know, in the bunker as well, where they have storage facilities, perhaps, possibilities to sell the resources that you find on the spot, like a resource depot. Maybe they have a refinery there where you can refine them, perhaps.
Basically, anything that exists currently in the Star Citizen universe and what's to come will also be in here. So try and keep that in mind when we're playing through the spaces. But aside from that, yes, everything is work in progress, so things will change. Just want to get that disclaimer out there now. But I hope you enjoy and seeing where we're up to.
Yes,
okay,
please,
so
let's get
here we
started.
are on Pyro 3. Now we'll just place the UGF here for the moment, just so we can test it.
Pyro 3, yes, so we're not gonna see it in Stanton, unfortunately. Not in 319, sorry. Alright, Pyro 3, that's also, by the way, Pyro 3 looks so awesome. People were asking me, Erad, what's going to be your if you had a base in Star Citizen, if you had some real estate for your organization, where would it be? It would be there. Pyro 3 looks phenomenal. I love it. And
on a planet, not worry about it accidentally going into the game before it needs to. And I'm going to take you in. Now, please ignore my...
Did you hear that? He said, you know, the reason we put it on Pyro 3 is because we don't want to get it accidentally in the game before release. Say, there we go, right? That's why they put it in Pyro, so that we don't get it.
My flying skills, they're not the best. I'm just here for doing environments.
My flying
now,
skills
as you can see, it's quite a large structure on the surface of a planet.
Wow.
There are hangars here. You can land on landing pads.
This is so cool. They have hangars. Like, can we actually call can we actually call the bunker? Is there like a local ATC that's going to be opening the bunker? Or is it going to be automatic, perhaps?
We're thinking about how, you know, the function of the place. So, as you can see, it's quite a formidable structure.
Yeah.
Hangars on either side, landing pads, so you can move your cargo back and forth. But for us...
Cargo? Yeah, so maybe we'll be able to buy and sell things here.
We're going to just land, hopefully, on the top.
Oh. Okay, so... Not
oh my god, I'm really butchering this flight.
It's okay.
Whoa.
Just turn off the engines. There we go. Alright. Wow. Did you see... Look at the size of that thing. Even when we were landing on top, that's how big it is. Like, it's at least 100 meters tall.
Okay, so let's get out of this high seas.
I like how they take one of the smallest ships to take you to such a big location, which adds to the sense of scale.
Now, as we go in, there are going, like I said before, there's lots of work in progress stuff. There's going to be things clipping in and out. Try to look past that and to what it is we're actually showing.
Sure. Do they have doors? Oh, so that's why we're landing here. Because even if you are landing here, you can still have access to the bunker from the top.
It is still work in progress at the end of the day. So right now we're just dismounting in front of our lobby. If we're on a planet with no atmosphere, we've got these airlocks that you can use to go into the main lobby area.
Yeah, but here the atmosphere is breathable, but we still have
in we go.
All right, let's go inside.
Okay, so we're in now, kind of.
By the way, I love how a white box building in 2023 looks like a finished level in 2003. If you remember those old games, I'm thinking, for example, of Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and it's kind of how it looks, minus the texture, but it's basically it. It's very similar. It's very interesting how far we've come in all that time.
Well, lobby we'll get into. Here it is.
Oh, nice.
So this, when you first turn up to the UGF and your rep is, rock bottom, you're going to come here first. And this is kind of the introduction to whatever company owns the UGF.
Oh, so actually it's like a production facility, actually, or some kind of corporate building, and just, the entrance got the lobby here, which is where, they're going to be presenting themselves and look respectable, and that's where all the juicy stuff will be happening, will be at the levels below.
And you'll be getting some missions from in this place, but you can see it's quite going for that brutalist structure, but having all this glass kind of makes it so you can kind of let the outside in a way. And you can see by looking out these windows, we can kind of take a look at kind of, again, the expanse of the structure. And I think in the background over here, that is another UGF. So like I said, it's quite a big thing on the surface of the planet, which is awesome.
Yeah, well, I didn't know Power
So in
3
here,
was
this is not just a through space. We're going to have some offices on the back.
Nice. Oh, so these are some of the. That's why they were telling us. Oh, we're already starting working on those building interiors, and they're already starting working on them for the underground facilities, because those are going to be getting the offices, which are eventually going to be made in a procedural fashion so that they can be put into the buildings of the planets too.
And all of these, there's going to be some alternate routes that you can take, but we're building up all these spaces like it's a living, breathing area.
Now, if only the NPCs could be
definitely
also
more
doing
corporate focused on this top level. Now let's make our way down into the UGF itself, because that's what this thing's for.
Yes.
So you get the limbo elevator down, and that brings us to this kind of pedestrian entry area.
Now it's already not as nice.
This is where we're going to have some weirdness, and then it clips into our main top of the elevator room, which you can see over there, which is lovely.
Indeed. Wow,
let's just make our way through. So there, this is...
Look at that space is so huge. That is going to open up to so many opportunities for, say, sniping, for example, or lots of different strategies. You're here with a group. It's full of enemies. How do you go to the other side?
Is the top elevator room.
It's not just go in a place.
Again, there's kind of access to the outside. There's access to side rooms and other rooms from here.
It's basically a dungeon. That's what they were explaining. This is actually what Ian Leyland was explaining in the video when he was talking about building interiors. It's like they're trying to build the equivalent of dungeons, but in Star Citizen, so that you decide to go into one of those buildings, and it's going to take a long time, and that's what they're doing.
Where you're going to be, in order to get downstairs, you have to come to a room like this. I'm just going to kind of walk you through it and go to our cargo office.
They've got the cargo
lots
office.
To do, lots of people
just like at the I hope that there's going to be something to do, right? That's why we desperately need the cargo refactor to be entering into full effect, because right now we do have those cargo decks and stations. They are useless, and I have a feeling that if developers here don't give them a purpose, they're going to be useless in the undergrounds as well.
About lots of space to to do things. So in we go. So this is our version of our cargo office.
Okay, they've got the Kovalex deliveries here for your regular delivery.
You get delivery missions from here. You could buy items, but a lot of our rooms are going to feature this kind of door with pedestrians on either side, and that's just so that we've got that kind of functionality throughout the space where things will be moving around, and really the pedestrians want to be out of the way.
Now, this is what's really striking me here, is that those underground facilities they're basically landing zones. They are so huge. They're basically stations or landing zones on planets. How are we going to be keeping the law and order in all of these? What's going to prevent me from wanting to go crazy and kill everything? See what I mean? There's not going to be any armistice zones here, are there? So how are we? I hope that by the time this comes, and that's why maybe we need server meshing, I hope by the time this comes, security will be able to work the way it's supposed to work, because otherwise I don't see how that's going to be working unless there's an armistice zone. But why would there be an armistice zone? Because they want eventually players to kill other players, kill other NPCs, do some heists. But it's so huge. It's a landing zone.
Let's just have a look into the space itself. Everything's controlled by this kind of observation tower. For us, we're going to head downstairs.
I like how the NPCs are already having their own paths.
And we can do that quite quickly on these kind of smaller pedestrian elevators.
Nice. Okay. So we can go to an extra sub-level.
So away we go.
We're going down.
Now the depth of the, the first sub-level is going to change in every UGF.
Oh, that is super
That's going to be procedurally generated, a lot like the rooms as well.
Wow. Look at that.
And the elevator's just kind of moving back up. Now you could take the cargo elevator down, that's fine, but that's going to be fully automated, whereas these pedestrian elevators are going to be more independent. So
you just press the button and you go there, but the cargo elevator not. Okay.
So you can see that disappearing up to the top.
So now we are in the depth. So where's this? I really wonder if there's going to be like an alternative entrance, maybe through a cave. Wouldn't it be quite awesome if we could actually find like a secret entrance to those bunkers via a cave and then explore the cave to then be able to get into that bunker and sneak in, like in stealth mode, go there, kill someone, steal something, and go back into the secret entrance of the cave.
Our bottom of the elevator room. So again, nice big space, very functional. There's going to be, things loaded on and off. And then this gives us kind of access to the rooms.
Yeah, this seems a little bit more white box. If you could look at the NPCs here, they're all frozen here, just placeholders. So it seems like work is not as fleshed out as the other levels, but still, that looks very impressive. But what are we going to do there? Is this where we'll be able to mine, for example?
Or the wings on either side, I should say. So as we release more content for this, you're going to get more expansive wings, different themes, that kind of thing. Now the doors here are a bit misaligned. Again, work in progress.
That's okay.
And this is a security checkpoint. So hopefully you've got the right credentials.
Yeah, it definitely looks like we can go in there with ground vehicles. I mean, look at how large those alleyways are.
You're going to get checked, you're going to get scanned. But what if you haven't got those credentials? Well, there are alternate routes in. Down here that you can see there's a little hatch, so maybe you're sneaking your way under the floor, or are you making your way over the top on piping? Multiple ways in. So again,
I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea of sneaking into those places. I was hoping that we could do that via a cave, but
no. In the white box, it's really good to just call out. Yes, your alternate routes. Yes, your main path, but also where can you get on and off of those? What's rock? What's metal? What's a feature? What isn't? Because if we can call that out now, it means that we're giving people more information as they go into the next phase. Again, so this is just an example of maybe a rock room, which kind of just links two rooms together.
Okay.
Maybe there's some storage. Now, can I just jump over this? Because
I still don't understand the purpose of those underground facilities. Like, is this a mining location for mining? What are we, the players, going to be able to do there?
Got to put stairs in. Over to the other side. And these are kind of our biggest doorways, but I'm not going to go down this, but we're going to have smaller doors into the space. So in here, it's kind of like, well, where do these lead?
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have to wait for that, I'm afraid.
Oh, no!
So that one up there, that's where you'd kind of navigate to each room through the ceiling. So we're back in that big room from before.
And they have some stairs. We're taking the stairs. Okay.
When the rooms are this big, we can do a bit more with them. So there's an area out the back here. There's, rooms and maybe even some control points. So what if this bridge, I know it's a little blurred over this chasm,
So
what if you could...
let's say the bridge is closed, you go to the control room, you open it, and then it opens and you have access to wherever you want to go. I see. So they want to be bringing those little puzzles in those underground
track that
facilities.
back and forth. What if it's not even there? How are you going to make your way across? That's not for me to decide, it's for you as the player when you're getting in and out to decide. But for the moment, we're just going to make our way through. Yeah, if you fall down there, you're probably going to die, so watch out for those kind of things. But there are still, you know, hopefully you can find your way on these main routes. Some side rooms you could play, but then also, you know, this bit's under construction now, but I wonder what it's going to be in the future. And, you know, having all these spaces kind of to this level of detail, it's really rough, as you can see, but I'm walking around unhindered. You know, I can
it's definitely playable. Let's just put it that way. He can go around. It's basically a concept that's working, and from now on, all I have to do is to decorate it and put in some extra gameplay and functionality.
Down this thing,
it's definitely
you can see where kind of a building might be, or where we could have mission spawners, or maybe that's where you need to get to. You know, you've got this main route, but we've also considered the alternate route. So if you're sneaking in, where can you go? And this is kind of predominantly... Well, actually, having said that, there's pipes up there, so you could go from the ceiling or you could go underneath. And then, how do you sneak around? What if people are down there and they spot you? You've got to contend with that.
Well, you're going to have to use a knife.
And then this is more of a hero room at the moment. This is like a warehouse. So this is same level of detail as the rest that we've just walked through, but the lighting's had a bit of a better pass on it. We're midway through this white box process at the moment.
Now, what I want to know, here's what I would love with those bunkers. He said, this is the warehouse. That's where they're going to have, you know, those containers, 1 SU containers, 32 SU containers. What if you could go to some of those underground facilities with a ship that has a tractor beam, a small ship, say a 315P with a tractor beam. You go in there, and we use a tractor beam to bring those SU boxes out, and then some accomplices are out there, they steal the boxes, and they leave away with some of the boxes. He was saying that there could be some heists with those underground facilities. That is where I see that those heists might be happening.
Things can change still.
I mean, look at how big that is. You can definitely sneak in a ship.
You know, maybe the alternate route is where that guy in red is down there, but... if you fall to your...
Or you bring in some ground vehicles, a couple of mules. You know, you bring a couple of mules inside. A mule can carry 2 SCU, if I'm correct. So you put the boxes under the mule. You got a couple of friends, you know, 5 mules. So you got 10 SCU. And there can be some values. Maybe they have Quantanium here. 10 SCU of Quantanium that can make up your day. You know, you come them here, you steal them, you go away.
Down that one, you might end up breaking your legs. You know, all of these containers, maybe the straddle frames are moving things around. Potentially, you could, if you're on a mission where you want to steal something, maybe it's in one of those containers.
Yes, there we go. Yes, we can steal them potentially.
Hopefully a big, you know, working space, sandbox within a sandbox, you could say. What I do like about this room is that you've got these straddle frames, you know, why not get onto the top of them and get to the cabin? Also, when you're in the depths of the room, it's kind of like you've got these big piles of crates. Maybe you're sneaking between them.
Can you imagine that you go in there, you go in the crane, you go in the cabin, you make the crane work, you take the containers and you put them out so that your friends can pick them up.
Maybe, you're rifling through the contents of one and then trying to get out.
Wow, okay, so that's much deeper than I thought.
So there we go, that's where we're currently at. Like I said, we're midway through White Box. We've got a bit of time left to polish these rooms up and get the rest done. We're more or less at about 17 rooms, and then each of those rooms will have 2 overlays. So plenty of content for this initial release. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So
was,
what are-
that was. This is going to give some really nice perspectives for gameplay in the future when this comes out. Trading, mining, hides, FPS. It's basically going to be including everything. It's like a landing zone on the planet, and hopefully there's not going to be. There's no way there's going to be an armistice zone because of all the activities that's going to be there.
What did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the new underground facilities are making their way through the pipeline from concept to planning to white box with the intention to make their debut on the planets of Stanton and Pyro and beyond.
That's
that
awesome.
the procedural assembly of a multitude of room types.
Now he said Pyro too, so these bunkers are not going to come for a long time. So keep your hopes down, right? Wait a little bit, because it's not going to be probably not going to come in this year. But I suppose that we're going to be seeing more of those during SeasonCon, because there was like little SeasonCon 2953 logo on the side. So probably we're gonna have a follow up with maybe some, a final version or a gray box, late gray box, final art version of those bunkers during the SeasonCon.
Will enable nearly every aspect of Star Citizen's current gameplay to occur inside them. And that even though they told me not spaceships, I'm never gonna not bet on the Star Citizen community. I believe in you. Now,
there you go, right? I'm sure we'll be able to put starships inside. I said, no, not starships, but yeah, Jared is right. Jared is right. People are going to find a way to get their starships inside.
remember, the Alpha 318 is available now to all players on OpenPTU, so check that out for more on Star Citizen's next major release. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all here next week.
All right, great episode. And I'll definitely try to make some kind of analysis. That's going to be on the main channel as well, guys.